What's really good, bozos, bullies, brothers, babies, backbreakers, buffoons? How y'all doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Broadcast Boys Show. We are back and better than ever. We got a good show today, but first and foremost, let me check in on my brother, Brody. How you doing?
I'm good. We got a legend in the building coming off a trip to Seattle for the MLB Celebrity Game where we were graced with the presence of Donovan Mitchell, Zach LaVine, but most importantly, JoJo Siwa. She didn't come up clutch when it mattered most, but even being in her presence was special and very humbling.
I mean, I'm telling you. Look, for the fans back home, I'm going to be a fanboy for a second. Me and Brody were in the booth at the stadium in Seattle calling this celebrity softball game, and the little baseball fan to me from back in the day hyped. Unbelievable experience. And Brody, how nice was where the Seahawks and the Mariners play? Those
stadiums were beautiful.
They were enormous.
Especially Lumen Fieldhouse. Oh my God, it was almost comparable to Wes Welker Fieldhouse for the Creator League Final. I would love to play in it one day. I feel like if we did end up playing, I'd probably be ass, but
I'd be nice.
I highly recommend watching it.
And the coolest thing about it all, Donovan Mitchell and Zach LaVine, they recognized us. Talk to me nice.
Yeah, we didn't even recognize them.
Hard work, dedication, perspiration, motivation.
I don't even know who they were, but they came up to us, so.
Sorry, I do not know that man. I am not familiar with his work.
Well, first, when he came up to me, I said, I am in no mood. And then I said, I can give him 5 minutes.
But let's talk about a brother whose work that we are very familiar with. Let's get to our guest today.
Standing 5'10", 155 of pure sauce with Marbury handles and a Bob Cousy mid-range. The academic valedictorian of And One is in the building, taking your ankles, soul, and girl with a smile. A brother beloved from Kaiser to Kazakhstan, the global Hoopers influence knows no bounds. Take a seat, stupid, because class is in session. Welcome to the pod, the Professor!
Yes, sir. What's good, Professor? Welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's good, fellas? I'm feeling good, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate you guys.
You're a YouTube star at this point, but that's not where you began. And now there's a lot of people who you came up with in And One that don't necessarily have the same sort of fame and notoriety that you do at this point. How did you keep yourself relevant when everything with And One went down and you kind of had to figure out your second act?
You know, it's funny. It felt at the time, it just felt like my only resort. Social media wasn't a mainstay like it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could probably say, 20% of people had social media at the time?
Yeah.
I was actually privy to YouTube right when it dropped. So YouTube came out 2004. There was already And One compilations on YouTube by about 2005. So like I would see people, I remember I went to the UK and Australia and fans came up to me and they were like, oh man, love your stuff. And by habit, I used to be like, oh, thanks for checking out the show. But they were like, no, we seen your stuff on YouTube. And people would see my stuff on YouTube. So I actually hired an editor to try to flood YouTube in like 2005. And my compilations that were ripped off the TV show would get like 1 million views in a week on there. You know what I'm saying? So It was going crazy. I remember even at a time where if you typed basketball on YouTube, like my mix would come up, my highlight compilation. Yeah. So when it ended, when And One ended, there was no more ESPN TV show. I just felt like branding on social media was the best place to get notoriety and to get, DMs for like bookings. You know, back in that day on YouTube, you could actually get a DM. So I was getting bookings for games on YouTube, knowing that I think at that time it was in like 20 countries or something. So I really didn't master plan the whole thing. I went straight to YouTube when it ended. I started my own channel because that's when AdSense became a thing. And then I was playing like one-off exhibition games for years until I finally had a viral video in 2013. And then I got 1 million subs like overnight. You know what I'm saying? It just became a business.
No, because people knew who you were. It was just a matter of them like kind of seeing what you do and seeing what your YouTube presence is going to be like.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I look back on it and people, like you said, they connected the dots. But everybody thinks that when And One ended, I just went to YouTube and everything was like a steady climb. Truth was, we fell off hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I fell off crazy. Like I went to a UCLA game out here in LA, and I remember one person recognized me. And just a year or two before that, I had to take security everywhere I went. Well, one kid recognized me. He couldn't even say my name. He said, "Hey, ain't you didn't you play in like a tournament on TV or something?
Ain't you the teacher?"
It was wild. It was a humbling moment. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot to learn, and in that time you could be forgotten about quick, without social media.
Damn. So if social media was as prolific as it is today, do you think a lot of your coworkers, your peers would have been in a similar position to you if they could have capitalized?
Yeah, we would have been crazy popping back in the day. Like, I'm really trying to think because I was just sitting down with Kevin Garnett last week, and he even said it like it didn't really register because I used to say like, "Yo, we got as much spin as the NBA," but he was right. He was like, "Y'all was on way more than the NBA." You know what I'm saying? He said that show was on 50 times a week, all night, and all that. And it's crazy, right? How much national TV did NBA teams get? At most, probably what, 2 times a week, maybe at most, if you're the Lakers or the Knicks or something like that.
Right.
Everybody, including myself, we were in that mindset where it was about endorsement deals and companies doing your branding for you. And that was the only way to be on. We only knew the gatekeeper setup.
Right.
I was focused on it, but I wasn't focused on building an empire. I was just like, hey, man, let's throw all the scrap footage up there. I had a fan teach me how to edit. One of the fans who made one of my compilations, he taught me how to edit. So I throw my scrap footage up there. I'm like, hey, that's just another outlet where I can get looks. And it wasn't until 2013 somebody came to me and was like, yo, you never tried to went viral? He's like, some of these videos aren't even great edits. You've got 500,000. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of how it went. So I think mine wasn't even strategic either. Kind of fell into it, thank God. But I do think, if we all, if we were on IG in 06, you know what I'm saying? It would have been different.
Yeah, because for example, a Tristan Jass of the world, he's incredible at what he does, but he's just could be in his backyard doing incredible layups. Whereas you guys had a much larger scale and had to put much more effort into gaining that recognition.
For sure. And the landscape was different. It was way higher talent. I think all the OGs always say that. Like, it's like they'll always say that Era had the most talent. But I mean, just honestly, I've lived both through. I played with the YouTube hoopers and I played with AND1 hoopers. And AND1, we'd have NBA players come and it would be synonymous. You might not even be able to tell who's in the league. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of myths going around, like on past docs, talk about the level of AND1 players. There's a lot of like myths with that. But it was a pro level game with YouTube hoopers and all that. They're actually good, but it's like college though. You know what I'm saying? It's like a college level game, somewhere in between college and pro, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like there's levels to it, right? Because we know a lot of YouTube hoopers, and as much as we love them, they're not hooping on the same level that you and the AND1 guys were back in the day. You know what I mean? But have a similar level of fame at this point. So it's kind of just like changed the landscape, like you said.
Yeah.
Now, when you first started with YouTube, you've been talking a lot about like the grind that goes into YouTube, how you got to get editors and put out videos and that kind of stuff. Basketball is obviously your first love. Do you love this YouTube grind, or is this kind of like a means to an end to kind of like keep your bills paid and you in the know?
No, I actually love it, man. I actually love it. And, we talk about the talent difference. I was just making an observation. I don't down it. I think it's dope that everybody can have an outlet, right? You guys yourself, you're a product of somebody who's benefited from having your own distribution on social media. So I think it's incredible. I think it's really dope. And I do love it. I actually don't even view basketball separate from production now, which is funny. I was telling somebody that in the podcast the other day. And they were like, yo, we got a pickup run out here in Venice, man. You should come check out. I was like, bro, I'll be honest. You can't get me to play pickup. Like, if I play, it's only if we're rolling for YouTube. And if I play and we're not recording, like, I don't even feel right. Like, and I get injured a lot too, you know what I'm saying, nowadays. So like, I don't really risk that. But yeah, it's all one to me. Like, I have so much fun bringing together like a hoop vlog or a cosplay video or an IRL trash talk, park takeover, whatever it is. I do love it for sure.
It's great to watch a professional play, but it's also nice that someone like Jesser can have a lane where it's more like watching you and your friend just play in the backyard.
Yeah, exactly. And both are relatable for two different reasons, right? One is like you love to see the best, or you love to see like, high competition, controversy, trash talk, hostile environment, and that's fun. And then like Jesser, right? His are more like, it's like the bros got together in the backyard and had a great time, and we can relate to that because that's fun too. And he's done an amazing job with his production and editing and the whole nine. We actually had the same manager for a lot of years, so I got to see his progression. But dude's killed it. But yeah, people like that, you know what I'm saying, in the space have a chance to blow up, where if there was gatekeepers, who knows what that looks like, right? Like the dude that plays backyard hoop, it's not going to be the same. You know what I mean? Like, I always tell people, even back in the AND1 days, people wanted to be street ball players. And in my mind, I'm like, there's only like 15 spots. Like, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
You could have played street ball to make a career though and save some money. Like that, if you weren't on AND1, that was going to be tough,
Nah, for sure. And it's funny. I was looking at your channel and I saw that way back when your first video you ever dropped on YouTube was Professor drops 33-7 in Brazil 2009. Now I'm sure you posted that a few years after that actually happened, right?
I think I posted it in '09.
Yeah,
Actually,
you did.
I was on
Okay.
site. That's a Sony Handycam. Let
That's
me give
nuts.
you an idea of how hood my YouTube game was back then. Copped a Sony Handycam before I went to Brazil. I knew I was going to start YouTube because I was already uploading on YouTube. This is on my homie's channel. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing there was no YouTube AdSense. So it's like, okay, started my channel. Boom. So I get out there and there was like this kid. He was a huge fan, but he was kind of like the manager out there, like helping out. And mind you, I didn't even have money to hire a videographer to come out there. You know what I'm saying? No team, no nothing. So he was like a huge fan of mine. He's probably like 15 or something like that. So I asked him, I was like, hey, bud, would you mind filming this game? And I gave him a little lesson. I said, stand right here. Here's how your framing should look. He did a decent job of filming, for like an amateur.
Right.
Like it wasn't bad, right? For just like a, whatever, my first YouTube vid. But we actually lost that game. And I remember this kid, I go over to him to get my camera back. He's bawling in tears, like, because we lost. And I was like, oh, bud, you all right? He's like, oh, you lost. I was like, bro, listen, it's basketball, man. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. It was so funny. But yeah, that was my first YouTube vid. I got home and I remember I edited that and threw that up. Didn't really think much of it.
That's also the beauty of YouTube, too. It doesn't need to be the highest quality at all. You might put in so much effort into a video and it does nothing. You might put no effort into a video and it absolutely blows up.
If you want to go higher and you want to smash it, your production editing does need to get better. But you're right, though. My biggest video on YouTube is actually filmed on 2 iPhone 7s, 83 million views.
Were these the Spider-Mans?
No, my biggest video ever is actually I went to Laguna Beach in like 2016. They have these 2 half courts. They're kind of like legendary for Cali. They're like the only other beach courts outside of Venice. And I was hooping for like 3 or 4 hours, and the day was cool, but it wasn't great. But then this dude started talking crazy on the sidelines, and he was like telling somebody how to guard me. He's like, all you got to do is watch his hips. He's like, that ain't shit, bro. You got to just get up and do X, Y, Z, and boom, boom, boom. So I was like, oh, for real? I was like, you sound like you got the remedy or whatever. And he's like, yeah. So he's like, we should run it back after this. I was like, all right, bet. So we finished that game, and I played the dude one-on-one, and he was out of shape. So midway through the game, he got tired. So I went between the legs, snatched it. The dude splat on the pavement, no contact though. You know what I'm saying? Those are the best ones. You don't even touch them, right? So dude, the pavement hard though. You know what I'm saying? Like a splat sound.
And this is the dude that had the recipe to guard you, right?
Yeah. And then the funny thing is, like 2 possessions later, I gave like an up fake between my legs, between his legs, snatch. The dude he reached or something, but he like broke his shoulder. He threw his shoulder out of the socket, and then the game it just ended right there because he had to quit. So like, that's why that video is so crazy. And that's what goes to your point. That's shot on 2 iPhone 7s, right? But the reason it was crazy is because like we couldn't have wrote a better script. The dude talked all the trash, you know what I'm saying? And then finally got in there, played. I crossed his shoulder, like he broke his shoulder. It's wild, you know what I'm saying?
That's nuts.
But that's my biggest video, 2016. I haven't been able to top that one. But yeah, the Spider-Mans, that was my first viral video, 2013. That's what took off my whole channel. I got 1 million subs in a day.
Yeah. I remember that video. So I wanted to ask you, right? Because you ask any creator, a lot of them have videos that they're super proud of and maybe ones that they're like the most proud of. You know, I think for me and Brody, ours is when we went to Nashville and pretended like I was an NFL draft prospect. And somehow the city of Nashville believed that I went in the first round. Don't ask me how. But for you, what would you consider your video that you're most proud of that you could really put your name on that and be like, I'm proud of that shit?
Dang, it's really hard to say one. You got that first Spider-Man video just because, like, back in the algorithm's friendly now, like you might be able to do 10, 20 million in a day if you've got an excellent, like shut down video. Back then, if you got like 5-6 million in a week, that was like 50 million. You know what I'm saying? So that first episode 1, I got hit up from everybody. Good Morning America, CNN, ESPN, like anybody you could think, any media outlet you can think of. So 1 million subs in a day, that was special. I went to a prison and hooped with prisoners. I think that was like 2018. That was a really eye-opening experience, but also a great time. And then like I hooped for like 30, 40 minutes. I don't think I missed a shot though. Every trick worked. I don't think I missed a shot. It was like one of those moments meant to be because even the court, it was actually like at a slant and it had like a little gravel on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No way that was a nice court. Yeah.
Yeah, but we got it done. And then there's this one game at Court Kings. I think I have like 35 million views or something. It's called Professor Breaks Ankles and Egos, and these dudes were talking crazy. But I had like 57 highlights in one game and like 30 points. And so that was like my favorite 5-on-5 game video. And then we did the Space Jam. Space Jam was the second biggest web series ever next to Spider-Man. So it's hard for me to like those 5 stand out in my mind if I had to reference a few.
So you've dominated at the prisons. You've dominated in cosplay. You've separated, sounds like, overweight men's shoulders. Can you recall the first time that you ever busted someone's ass so badly that you had a vision in your mind that I could do this professionally for the rest of my life?
Ooh. You know what's crazy? I actually never thought I even belonged in N1 or on the street ball scene because it was very like an urban hood thing. I'm like growing up in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? I'm practicing my driveway, the birds chirping. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think I really even belonged there. I was just a fan. So I don't know if I ever thought I could do it for. I actually did though, but I was trying to make the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like in the back of my mind, at some point, everybody was going to respect my game, even though they really didn't like that on a broader scale. But then when I go to N1, my eyes were kind of open because after my freshman year of college, I improved by like 300%, but nobody really told me. Like I felt like I did, but nobody really co-signed and affirmed that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I go crazy at N1, but I actually had a battle with Hot Sauce, several battles with Hot Sauce. One defining one was in Detroit. He came down and like he hit me with like a stiff leg crossover. I like touched earth. You know what I'm saying? I touched down real quick. I lost it. But I got up and I almost got a piece of it. You know what I'm saying? I recovered, but he hit the shot and they went crazy. They ran on the court. So I didn't even know what to do because I'm like, damn, like that's a tough act to follow. What the fuck am I supposed to, you know what I mean? So I come down the next play. My coach, I remember he was like, go right back at his ass. You know what I'm saying? Get him. So I'm like, I'm kind of deer in the headlights. But I just blanked out. I did every move I could think of. I even did a couple Hot Sauce moves to him. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, hell yeah.
Went back at him, then gave like a little sham pullback, but he went for it. You know what I'm saying? He bit on it hard. I drove the lane. I think I even got pushed, but I made the layup, and then they lost it like twice as hard. So I think that battle gave me confidence. But then even when I won the contract, I actually busted Hot Sauce that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I won my contract.
Yeah.
So it gave me confidence for my career. But, you know, shout out to Hot Sauce, his big bro. You know, he was a huge inspiration of mine. But I found myself having to go against like every other night. You know what I'm saying?
That's a super famous clip, too. I believe he's wearing like the most ridiculous frayed shirt. I'm almost positive I've seen this one a bunch of times.
Yeah, and he's got a red jersey. Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it's a good back and forth.
So speaking of N1, you went to the open tryout and got discovered. I want to go back. You're riding in the car with your brother listening to Eminem. What was your mindset like? And if you knew how much your life was going to change, do you think you would have put up the show that you actually did?
That's hard to say, but I actually have a feeling I wouldn't have. You know, at that time, I would always, you know, sometimes you would battle with personal insecurity and you can get too in your own head. You know what I'm saying? There was times in my high school career and even college, I was just too in my own head. You know what I mean? And then it like throws you off your game. But I had a good flow state. You know what I'm saying? That whole summer, my freshman year ended. I'm a bench warmer. I played 3 minutes a game. I'm the dude that goes in on the all white team. You know what I'm saying? And we down 30 and then they banging on us. You know what I'm saying? Teabagging us. I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? I got dunked on and all that. So I got a lot better. And then afterwards in summer league, I'm going like I have D1 teammates, D2 teammates. You know what I'm saying? But I was winning every game, holding court. They're bringing in recruits, D1 recruits. I'm wiping them down. Like, and then now coaches are like, who's this kid? You know what I'm saying? Kind of ruffling the feathers a little bit because my coaches can't really sell me. I ain't on scholarship. So they're like, oh, he's one of our walk-ons. You know what I mean? So going to that N1 tryout, my thought process was, hey, I'm a fan. Can't wait to see my heroes play. Maybe I'll get to play with them because I played with them the year before in a little tryout. Even though I didn't do that well, but I got to go against Sick with it a little bit, some of the guys. So I'm just, I was just a fan, having a good time, hoping I get a little shine. But if I would have known it was like a life changer, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, in hindsight.
For sure. I wanted to ask you, right, because you said something about, the N1 players and the NBA players would play and you wouldn't be able to tell who's who. Do me a favor. Put together a team with you at the point of and 1 hoopers that you think could have stepped into the NBA regular season and win some games.
I think it would be here's the thing. When they came and played in our show, it fit in synonymous and we could shine. Going to play in the NBA to win games would be a tough play, but it wouldn't be impossible. This is what I want to say, and I'm going to start saying on all my interviews because there's a lot of myths about the level of and1, and I even did some with KG, street ball versus the NBA, and I realized people have a wrong viewpoint about the level of and1 players. Like they actually have a bad viewpoint, but I think it's because we never played the NBA, and then dudes talked a lot of trash back in the day about they need to be in the league, and kind of looked like bitter bums who didn't make it, just talking trash, right?
Yeah.
But the level is actually a lot closer than you think, and that's why I do what I do. I've had workouts with NBA players. I don't never say no names. I don't shade people, but I busted an NBA player ass before. You know what I'm saying?
Say the name.
Yeah, we can get a hint.
Workout. You know what I'm saying? A workout's not the league. You know what I'm saying? So that's different. Yeah. I'm not one to claim I go crazy in the league. But I will say, if we had to go there, put a team together, I'll be at the 1. Let's see, who's at the 2? I would have Prime Objective at the 2.
Okay.
Incredible name.
Okay, scratch that. Sorry. I would have AO at the 2, but we would rotate the 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? He's an amazing point. Yeah. I would put Prime Objective at the 3. I'd go small. I'd go Ali Mo at the 4. He was 6'9". I go Ali Mo at the 4. And then, the 5 would be tough because we don't have a true 5, but I would go small, and I would go with main event at the 5. Yeah. Main event or half man, you know what I'm saying? We could take either one of those to war. And I'll be honest, though, I don't know if that's the team, but the best of and1 could put up an interesting game versus an NBA team. I'm not saying, do work during the season, but, it wouldn't be what people think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, there's NBA teams that have won, 10 games in the season. I think y'all could be around that range. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think we put it if we played our own style and put on a show, they might not know how to. That's what would happen with NBA players,
Yeah, they wouldn't know what to do with
playing our game. Yeah, it's a different game, and the crowd momentum makes your game seem worthless if you hit a jumper. It doesn't move the needle, even if you make it. So you're like, damn, you don't know how to play with that.
Who was a player that actually adjusted well to your game that you were surprised wasn't hitting fundamental jump shots, but was really tailoring their skill set to fit into the and1 game?
Oh, you're saying who did well from the NBA? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, someone maybe that you didn't expect to do as well or fit in as well with the team you were running with.
I feel like any NBA player, if they played in our game, they should do well. I don't know if their Showtime aspect would really be like that, but
the showmanship aspect.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who from the league. Ricky Davis played in a good share of our games. He had 60 every game. We used to clown him, certain guys on the team would be like, "Yo, you took at least 30 of Ricky's points."
My man Ricky Davis is the one who thought that LeBron was coming into the Cavs to help him out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
he may not have been wrong.
Nah, he was nice.
Yeah, in hindsight,
he ain't wrong.
Hindsight looks funny, but at the time, I get it. I saw LeBron play live as a rookie, and I was like, hey, dude's good, but I wasn't even thinking about dude, So Ricky Davis went crazy. I'm probably forgetting, there was a lot of NBA players to play. I feel like the guards never went crazy though. The guards who played with us, it was more it wasn't guards that played that way necessarily. So Daryl Armstrong came to play with us. He didn't play well. It wasn't his style. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I saw him hit a layup in the dunk contest, so that's not too surprising.
Yeah, he didn't look to be a good player, but I'm really trying to think of the dudes. Mike James played in our game. He went back.
He was nice.
AO. Obviously Skip, was and1 player in the league, but I'm spacing right now. I know Deshaun Stevenson played with us. He did okay.
Abe Lincoln.
It was a different speed of game. Even for me when I got on that team, it was an adjustment to play that up and down. You're looking for the oop. You're waiting for the ISO. When you play the team game, everything's in your advantage. There's team defense, so if you get beat, you got help. You got an offense to fall back on. you can call for picks. Like we called for pick in our game. It was like, oh, like that's you souring up the show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So everything's in your advantage to help you in a team game. Whereas that you're kind of put on the island, and if you're not accustomed to that style of play, then it's kind of tough.
That's what's so interesting. That's what I love about And1 is that like basketball obviously is important, but it's like the show comes first, right? You're there to put on a show. You're there to make people go crazy, storm the court if something wild happens. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to see a clean pick and roll or a dive on the baseline. You know what I'm saying? Like
my dad does.
We would do it because you got to win. Like to us, actually, the W actually came first, but that's not what's going to be shown on the highlight recap.
Right.
But man, at the height of N1, the whole game was like a video game, bro. I'm not gonna lie. We had like close to flawless games before where like every possession was like a showtime, every other possession. Like honestly, it was fake. Like some of those games, like if they were on YouTube Raw, pretty impressive. Not gonna lie.
Now, when I think of NBA players that could have played And1, like let's say guys now, like I'm thinking, former Knick legend, my boy Jamal Crawford, Kyrie Irving, maybe Steph Curry. What are some other guys in the league, maybe stars that never really came out to And1 that you think would have came through and put on a show? Steve Francis is another guy that comes to mind. I don't know why he just popped in my head.
Oh, they would have killed it. Yeah, so those are the guys that would have been amazing. Obviously, Steph and Kyrie, those are young. They're way younger, but
right.
Yeah, those dudes would have been amazing in their time. I think like I'm trying to think who else in the league that would have been great. Jay Will.
Oh, hell yeah.
Jay Will would have been fire. I think what was the dude's name? There was the dude, Flip Murray.
He was a scorer.
Beast, you know what I'm saying? He was a sleeper. Yeah. And there's a lot of dudes that probably would have went crazy that even like some of the old school 90s point guards, they probably would have went crazy too, but they would have just did it their own way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like you had to play one way. Like if Tim Hardaway played in the And1 game, probably would have went crazy. It would have just been different. It would have been a little bit more straight up,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, players like that.
So you ran with a lot of people, a lot of exotic locations. Is there anyone at the peak of And1 fame? Is there any celebrity or figure that you're still surprised that you played in front of?
Still surprised? I think it was dope. Shaq was courtside a couple times. And it was funny, too, because I had a horrible game the first time Shaq came to see us play, which was, I was like so hurt. I was so bummed out. But, that was the beauty of street ball. It was real. You know what I'm saying? It didn't always go your way. But Shaq came. Stephon Marbury came to games. AI said that he's at game, like he's in the suite level. We didn't see him. I had heard that Steve Nash had watched a game in Phoenix. I'm trying to think.
I read you played in front of Sly Stallone, and I thought that was a hilariously random piece of information.
If I did, I didn't know it. If I did, I didn't know it. But that happened a lot. That happened a lot. Like I didn't know AI was at a game. You know what I'm saying? Or Steve, I found that out later. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, they're at the arena, they're watching the suite level. They don't want to make it an appearance. Shaq was like for the people. You know what I'm saying? So he
always.
So he lived in Tampa at the time, and so like when we play in Tampa, I think he came twice. But yeah, man. I'm saying here, I'm forgetting too. You know what I mean? I'm forgetting who all came, but a lot of GOATs came through. It was an honor for sure.
Now, this was something I wanted to ask you, right? Because the first time we met you, Professor, we was on the blue carpet for Netflix's Hustle, which is a movie that you had a helping hand in for sure.
Yeah.
But I did some research, and I found a movie that you were in, an unreleased movie, Ball Don't Lie. You starred alongside Ludacris and Nick Cannon. It was referred to as the 8 Mile of basketball. So for people who've never heard of the film, let's get a synopsis of what that movie was like.
Yeah. And it's funny. We're trying to get it released now.
Wow. For real?
I met up with the director and the producer first time in 15 years, just like a couple months ago. And I was like, fellas, can we just release it for the resume? You know what I'm saying? It got an A-list cast. So anyway, 8 Mile, they're only saying that because I'm a white dude. Like
I figured.
It's the opposite of that. It's not. So the reason it didn't come out, just keeping it all the way transparent, it didn't come out because I was known for basketball. And if you saw a product from me, you would want it to feel like And1. It should have been a hip hop. It should have felt like hip hop and been basketball. But really, It had a good message to it, though. It was a mental health. It was about the foster care system and mental health. So I played like a 15, 16-year-old who was in and out of the foster care system, trying to get placed in homes, and the parents keep sending me back to the foster care system. But meanwhile, I hoop at this local rec center. It takes place in Venice. And up at the rec center is like a lot of like name actors, you know what I'm saying? Like household names, but we all hooping up there. And there's a story about like me and my girlfriend, a love interest. And then like, I was just trying to navigate my way through life as a foster kid, but a hooper. And then I had OCD. So that was like the mental health aspect.
Oh, I see.
So it documents like a whole day where I'm trying to like make my girlfriend happy and get her a gift while having all these flashbacks and all showing my upbringing and how I am as a character or whatever. But it's got some good, it had like really good basketball scenes, and it's got some big names like Nick Cannon, Ludacris, Steve Harris, the dude that played Bubba from Forrest Gump, Michael T. Williamson.
Oh, hell yeah.
It got like a good cast, you know what I mean? So hopefully it sees the light of day, but that's what it was really about. It was about mental health, and the people who watched it and distributors for that big box office release, they wanted it to be hip hop. They passed up 1 million DVD releases. There was like a 500 theater release, but they were going for that. Back then, a box office release was 3,500 theaters or more. So they were waiting on that, and it never came. Wow. And it just, you know, the producer and directors, they had other projects, so it just got deprioritized over the years.
That sounds like a movie.
Now you release that, you release that shit now, it might go crazy on YouTube.
Yeah, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's Oscar worthy or nothing like that, but it had some charm to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I showed a lot of my friends, and they were like, "Oh, it's not bad. You should put this out." You know what I mean?
Hey man, I miss movies from that era. So if we can take it back and get a little time capsule view into that era, I'm with it.
All right, man. I'm hoping, and if we do, we come back for the press run. Cool.
Please do. All right. We're here.
It sounds more substantial than what was written about online, and something that could be more relevant today, given all the mental health stuff.
That was my pitch to the producer and director, and they didn't disagree at all. They like, cool, we'll see what it is. You know, streamers are really picky. You know, there's new movies being made every day that they're passing on. So it might come with its challenges to get it released, but you know, Lord willing, right? I do feel like that's for today.
So how did you get from that into actually choreographing basketball scenes for major motion pictures?
I think just being an analytical hooper, you know, learning a lot of footwork, and like also analyzing street ball. Like, we're highlights on steroids, so we know what those highlight moments look like. And often when you show a movie, you know, you have sort of a flow to it, but you want to get to that. The highest point becomes that highlight moment. I realized I had a gift for it when I started making basketball skits on IG. My homie, me and Air Deezy, we were actually the first ones to ever make a basketball comedy skit in 2012. And it was actually on Vine and IG. And then after that, you saw like the impersonators and people, you know, come on afterwards. But we did a few that were like skits for YouTube. And some of the plays were like choreographed, but they went viral as their own. People cut that clip from the skit, and then it was posted on the House of Highlights and all those, and people thought it was actually real. So like we learned we had a gift for it. We're like, dang, that's fake, but we can actually make that look real. Whereas like if you watch a movie, very few of the plays actually look real. Like they work for the story flow, and like you don't really like think too deep into it because the story moves the movie. But if you really analyze the basketball, like the timing's off, the crowd's cheering too soon, the footwork ain't right on the defense. You know what I mean? So we were able to pinpoint what's real and then get some gigs out of that. So it was cool.
Yeah, hustle was clean too, and I'm sure it helped having actual NBA players on set. But I'm saying in terms of basketball scenes, that was some of the cleanest I've seen in a movie in a long time. Yeah,
you know, that was great. And we didn't, you know, just so you know, I only choreographed my own scene on that. I didn't choreograph none of the B-ball on that. But that one, I wouldn't even say head of choreography really did their thing with that. I'll be honest. I know who that was. Not really a basketball guy, but they let the players kind of do their thing. You know, they gave them rough parameters. Here's what we want to achieve, and kind of let them do the things. But that's the beauty of having real ball players in the movie, right? It's going to give it a much more authentic feel. And I think Adam was smart because like by him having authentic people involved in the basketball community, he kind of like grabbed the attention of the core audience and won them over. And then obviously with a good story, you get the crossover to the mainstream audience. So Adam, you know, he did it right. He's dope.
Now, I wanted to ask you this one. So you've obviously snatched ankles across the globe. So I wanted you to tell me some of the most overrated and underrated street ball cities around the world, right?
Okay. I feel like honestly, it's hard to say underrated because there's hoopers everywhere. You know what I mean? But I would say like as far as like overall, like the crowd's into it and they get it and understand
Right.
it. I would say underrated Baltimore. You know what I'm saying?
Mellow.
Baltimore's crazy. When you think street ball, you really just think like New York, and I think you're second. You might think Philly, right? Like New York and Philly.
Right.
So I would say Baltimore's underrated. I would say when we went to like Florida, that's underrated too. But I think it was because those southern states don't get that street ball vibe. So when they do get it, you know what I'm saying, they'll turn up.
Yeah, and they'll show out for it.
Yeah, so I think that was dope. I'm trying to think overrated. What's overrated?
Also think internationally too, right? Because we know you've been all over.
Oh, okay. Dang. So Tokyo, Japan.
Really?
When we went to Tokyo, Japan, you would thought Michael Jackson was on the court. Like real talk. We're talking about passing out signs, will you marry me? Like it was wild. You know what I'm saying? So Tokyo was wild. I remember the first game in Asia we went to was Tokyo, Japan, and it was like a shutdown. Like anything we did, they're going berserk. You know what I mean? The only one that topped Tokyo was Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Okay. All right.
We sold out. Was it a tennis arena or soccer? It was either one. The joint was like a football. It was huge. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like somewhere between 30 to 50K. It was bigger than the Garden, right?
Oh wow.
But we sold it out on like a Wednesday, and then they were like, "Hey fellas, we'll pay you extra. You want to stay till Sunday and do another one?" And they almost sold it out again, like on that Sunday. But I remember that one was wild. Like I remember I just came. I wasn't even doing nothing. I was at half court. I just did it behind the back. It's like we're losing it for everything we did. I just do one of them fakes. You know what I'm saying? Like this, we're losing it. So those two were crazy. If I had to say overrated, I would actually say LA. LA never turned up. I think it's too much about Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the vibe of like Venice and Laguna to me is like, it's hard to top that just because it's like so beautiful and it does so well on camera. And you have a built-in audience, passerby, so that's really lit. But like in the Anwin era, we did LA, it never did well. Never performed.
That's interesting.
What about West 4th? It's so small. I feel like people can't comprehend just how tiny it is. It must be limiting to play at.
Yeah, West 4th, I've actually never played there.
Oh, really?
Funny enough. I believe it or not, I never played at West 4th.
That's pretty shocking to me. That's like the main level in NBA Street, too.
I know, and it's funny, too, because I guess what it was is back then, though, back in like Anwin era, the courts in Harlem went off the most. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't Russell, it was Kingdom or Dykeman. So we did those. Like, I don't think even my teammates, like they might have played pick up at West 4th for fun here and there, but it wasn't really like their thing.
It's more touristy, West 4th.
Yeah, it's more touristy. It's kind of like a Cali street ball. It's like Laguna or like
yeah,
kind of like Venice a little bit. You know what I mean?
When I played there,
so small, yeah, I can't even do half the shit you want to do there. You know what I mean?
I know. I do want to go there, though. I want to make content up there. I do want to go back there.
When I played there, I feel like the number one skill set there is like politicking, aka cheating to get the ball back, just talking trash and like learning how to play with crazy people. I would say that those are the things you're going to gain from it. But as far as like beautiful basketball is concerned, you're not going to find it anywhere close to West 4th.
No. And that's what's hard too. Sometimes like I've been wanting to do New York content too. We shot a little bit out there, but like sometimes it'd be so rugged, you end up playing football.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like even though you might have won your games, but like the joint was ugly. So I did a couple vids in New York. I didn't even release it. It was just this joint was whack. You know what I'm saying? But it's because I had to get fouled the whole game, and that's the hard part about street ball, right? It ain't no ref. You know what I'm saying? You got to work with it.
A New York pickup game is like a real NBA game that the last 5 minutes of the game are going to be incredibly drawn out. Like if it's 10-10, everyone's hacking on game point no matter what. It's
like that's the beauty of it because when you win, you feel great about it. You know what I'm saying? You call game, like you know what I'm saying? You tell them to get off the court and all that. That feels good. But yeah, like I've been in games where I couldn't make the game when it just wasn't gonna happen. Somebody was on me 6'4", and it was gonna be a shove. Like there was no game point possibility. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, you got to be a different level of toughness to kind of get a bucket off in New York City. That's for sure.
For sure. But I think even growing up, like with and one playing in New York so much and East Coast, actually like that built the foundation for my game. I actually, even current day, I don't even know the game. Like I watch NBA players scrimmage, and sometimes like I'll watch these high level AAU players like go through scrimmages and they don't even touch each other. You know what I'm saying? They do this and they slide their feet. I've never played basketball like that. I don't even know that. I don't even know the game like that. Whenever I play, it's always super personal. At least going to be hand checking, if not fouling every play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I'm thankful for that, but it does make it tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, cool. So we got 2 games. Before we wrap this up, because we know you got things to do, we got 2 games we wanted to run with you. So we're going to get those going.
Let's go.
Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, so and one on top of having the street ball, they had the funniest and hottest T-shirts in the game.
For real.
So
Yeah.
I want to read you some of these absurd taglines, and if you could just rank them 1 to 10.
Okay.
If you recall these on the T-shirts.
I recall a couple. I'm probably going.
Yeah. All right. This one's simple. Take a seat. Class is in session.
So I'm ranking it 1 to 10.
And 1 to 10.
Yeah.
You know, I like that one a lot. I'm gonna give that one a 9 just because it's very like Professor-esque. You know what I'm
I was
saying?
going to say that was pretty much yours.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
might have
I'm
made
You
it.
know what I mean?
I'm gonna give that one a 9. Like back in the day, I didn't think much of it, but yeah, like think about that now. Yeah, 9 out of 10.
Now, this one is highly suspect. You're as easy as your girl. I can't believe these were on T-shirts.
I don't even remember that one. That's crazy. That's funny though. You know what I'm saying? I give that like a 7, 8, something like that. I give that a 7. Yeah.
They call me the bus driver. I take everyone to school.
I had that one. No lie. I had that tee.
I think that's a soft trash talk. I'm gonna give that like a 6, just because that's like a soft line. Even though it's fun, it's like soft.
It's a dad joke. It's a dad joke. That was definitely
Yeah,
corporate.
I know.
Don't laugh. You're next.
Don't laugh. You're next. I don't like that. I'm giving that a 5. That's super soft. Like go ahead. You might name my favorite. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. If I let you score, will you go home?
5. We'll give it a 5.
Yeah, that's
I hopefully I read your favorite one. Call me the surgeon. I just took your heart.
6. I'll give it 6. 6.
I recall these being way hotter than they are now that I'm reading them.
Disrespectful. There was disrespectful ones for sure.
My game's butter. You're toast.
I give that like a 7. This is funny.
Because it's funny, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's corny.
I like this one. This one's creative. Your game is so tired, even your shadow quit. I don't get it, but I like it.
That's wild. Yeah, I never saw that one. Never saw that. I don't know. 6.
Okay. This one's very demoralizing. Give and go. Give up the game and go home.
I like that one. We'll give it an 8. I like that one. That's
Yeah, I like that one too.
Okay. I saw a picture of your game on the milk carton.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I rocked that one back in the day. I'm gonna give that like an 8. I like that.
This is another wild one. Your game's like your girl. Straight busted.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna go with a 10 on that one. My favorite one is your game is ugly as your girl. I used to wear that all the time. That one's close. I'm gonna give that one. Yeah, let's go 10 on that.
That's classic. And last one. What's wrong? Did mama forget to pack your game?
That's kind of funny. 7. We'll go 7.
I like that one because anytime you mention somebody's mama, you're getting under somebody's skin, no matter what.
Right.
That's automatic.
Right. Your mama jokes were way more popular back then too.
Had a whole damn show.
I don't know. We might need to bring those T-shirts back. I got to find them on eBay or something.
I need to get that girl busted. Your girl's bust. You know what's crazy though? They retroed those a few times. Shout out to And1. They've retroed the trash. They might have them up there now. I know they're doing a retro series. They did some of our favorite shoes on the tour just recently.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I got one of those on eBay like 10 years
get
ago.
my hands on some of that.
Yeah, but a retro one from the 2000s would be fire though. Like
Yeah.
on eBay. Yeah.
All right. So as one of the original handle gods from way back, I want you to tier rank some of these crossovers. Okay.
Okay.
Just give me like an A through F grade. And tell me if you don't remember these, but these are pretty famous, so you'll remember them.
Okay.
The Allen Iverson crossover on Mike Jordan.
A+. I mean, that's the one. That birthed me in the handle game. My trainer showed me that I was in 4th grade. It was like magic. You know what I'm saying?
It was so funny. It's such a clean crossover, but in real time, like it's excellent defense as well.
amazing. MJ almost got a piece of it. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. But yeah, that was the one right there. Like he probably had better ones, but the fact it was against Mike, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, for sure. All right, next one. Jordan in the finals. Was it a push off or was it clean?
Oh, I'm gonna say clean. Because I feel like that push off is a balance hand. You know what I'm saying? Like people say I put like sometimes dudes hit the deck like that, right? But what happens is if you cross and they're like at your chest and you're gonna come back, you're naturally you're gonna do something with your other hand. You ain't gonna be like you know what I'm saying?
It's like balance, yeah.
Yeah. So can it knock the defender off balance though? Yeah. I mean, if your momentum going that way, I just feel like it's something that's gonna happen. I feel like people are too sensitive about that. So I'm gonna say that's an A+.
All right, now this one's a little bit more deep cut. This is from the rookie sophomore game. I want to say 2012.
Okay.
Kyrie on Brandon Knight. Do you remember that one?
Oh, that was crazy, bro.
That was a series of moves too.
I'm gonna give it an A because it was a no contact ankle breaker, right? I don't think he stepped on his foot or nothing.
Yeah, he like just lost his footing and went face first.
That was pretty wild. I remember when I saw it too. That was before we knew Kyrie was Kyrie, and I remember thinking it was almost like an accident. But now when I go back and watch it, I'm like, that was actually crazy. I remember I saw it live. But yeah, I'll give it an A for sure.
All right. Now what about Steph Curry versus Chris Paul on the baseline? It was slight, but he got him.
Playing Twister.
Yeah, I think the headline of that, the virality was A+. But I think if I was actually to rank, he stepped on his foot.
Right.
That happens, though. I think that's something that happens, too. A lot of ankle breakers in history were contact ankle breakers. People just, you don't really see it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I thought that was crazy. I give that a B+. Yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy. Just because it was CP3, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, that joint was on the internet 1 minute after it happened, I remember.
That was the changing of the guard right there and then.
Yeah, it was wild. It almost, like, solidified. It was like Steph and CP3, you know what I'm saying?
That was like one of the moments for sure. Yeah. All right. James Harden versus Wesley Johnson. My man stared at him for a good 5 seconds afterward.
I actually love that one. They asked me about that on TMZ. It was on TMZ Sports. I remember that. I'm going to go B just because of the taunting. You know what I'm saying? I like the stare down. I think like that was a contact one, but still, that was great.
Professor's a class act. I respect that.
That was definitely the most disrespectful.
One, speaking of AI having more ankle breakers under his belt, the AI versus Ty Lue, that step over afterward, elite.
That was pretty hard. I think the crossover though, if in terms of he pulled back, right, and he fell off. He tried to block and he fell, right.
Yeah.
Dang. So it's hard to give that a bad grade, but I don't feel like that was that. It was the moment that made it big. You know what I'm saying? Right. I give the move. The move is like a C+. I don't think it was insane, right? AI done way better than that, but I think the moment is what made that crazy, and the fact that you know what I'm saying. I love the step over. That's fire. Like
that's super tough.
So yeah, I think the move itself is C+, but the moment was A+. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect it.
I got the defense back again. It's funny that was Ty Lue in that moment, and also he was randomly playing some pretty solid defense, even though they got torched that game.
I know.
I mean, people say like, look, he got stepped over by AI, but he had the assignment. You know what I'm saying?
And they won, right? I mean, he guarded him all the way to through victories too. So it's actually unfair to Ty Lue, to be honest. It's actually unfair. He got torched the first 2 games, and then I don't even if it's called containing. I think AI had over 20, but he made it tough enough for them to win. You know what I'm saying? The remaining games. So
nobody was stopping AI back then.
Yeah, I wanted them to win so bad. I remember that when they won that first game, I was so hyped.
Yeah, me too, man. I was so sad watching Dikembe Mutombo try to guard Shaq. I was like telling my dad, I'm like, this guy has to be cheating.
Oh yeah, them dudes was out of it. They really had no shot. Like the fact they won the game was actually wild. It was just AI going crazy, and you're just like, yo, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Professor, anything coming up for you? Anything you want to promote? Shout out? What's next?
Man, just check me out on socials, man, right now. I have a lot of things in the works, but it's too soon to speak on them. Actually, check it out, crossover5.com. So crossover spelled out the number 5.com. Sign up, you get a free video, 5 steps to the perfect crossover. I'm going to be dropping my online program teaching the game. It's called Crossed Up University. So be on the lookout for that. I'm really excited about that one. So that's in the coming months. Until then, check me out on YouTube, man. Professor Live, all other platforms at The Professor. Yeah, man. More content as always.
Hell yeah, Brody. I'm going to sign you up for that, man. You need it.
you too. I don't know who dribbles worse between me and you.
I mean, we're both bad, so.
Terrible.
How y'all play? Y'all rugged or what?
I'm rugged. Nelson's finesse.
I'm a finesse big man scorer. I want to say like a LaMarcus Aldridge, Brooke Lopez, Andre Blatche.
I'm Christian Laettner on the Wizards when he wasn't an all-star.
Hey, C. Laettner was underrated though, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's just what my refs called me when I was a little kid. So I'm definitely not as anywhere nice to him even comparatively, but I'll take it.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we'll take it.
Let's go.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for taking the time, sitting with us. You're a legend in your lane. We salute you. Big fans from way back.
Wow.
We'll do this again sometime.
Hey, humble fellas, man. Super appreciate the time.
Hopefully catch you soon, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you.